Hello, welcome to the video. John Bodine here with Redemptive Psych, and here we're going to finish our 16 type series, our short introduction to the 16 types. Today we're talking about the famed INTJ. Now, INTJs, just as ISTPs, I view as the secret affiliative of all the pragmatic types. I view INTJs as the secret idealist of the rational types, meaning that even though they can seem very detached and about their business and focused and conceptual, they do have this beating heart idealism within them, even though they are technically rationals. So, as I said, they are one of the four rationals, though, which means they're part of the NT temperament, also called an intellectual temperament, meaning they are theory-based, they are focused on the future, but they are more focused on bringing about technologies, systems, and implementing information that's going to change tomorrow. They have an inventive quality to them. Now, whereas the NTPs, the ENTP and the INTP, are more about creating original systems, INTJs refine new systems and reshape them to make them better. The three words I've chosen to describe the INTJ as I see them are acquire, utilize, and solitude. Firstly, acquire. They have a profound ability to set their sights on something, gather the skills and the knowledge, which we'll talk about in a moment, gather the skills and the knowledge to arm themselves to acquire that goal, that achievement, that thing that they see they can get in the future. Next, utilize. I hinted at that with their relationship with the rationals. The NTPs create new systems, the NTJs refine them, optimize them, and utilize them. They are phenomenal. INTJs are phenomenal at gathering information, using information, and employing that. They move from theory to action to the ability to implement knowledge very quickly if they want to. Now, they do suffer somewhat from analysis paralysis, but their ability to make use of information can be unmatched. And third, solitude. Of all the 16 types, I believe INTJs have the highest need for solitude. Someone like Friedrich Nietzsche, who went to the mountains for years and with very little social contact. That's something INTJs can do. Part of their growth and maturity is realizing the need for some social interaction. Even the INFJ, their INJ counterpart, really needs more social contact and more social interaction than the INTJ does. INTJs don't need as much. They need time to process and dream on their own and plan and research and gather. And social life can be a big struggle for them because often they feel it awkward and like they don't know what to do and like their mind's often somewhere else. So they can acquire social skills, but in general, their deeper need, their deeper ability is unlocked through solitude. They just have to be careful how often they use it. Now, moving to the functions, like I've said in many of these videos, the letters I don't care about a lot. I think they're misleading. For example, many true INTP types test as INTJs. INTJs may test as an INTP or an INFJ. The letters can be a little bit all over the place, but the true heart of a personality type is here within the attitudes, the characters in our mind, and then the order of the tools in which how our type utilizes our tools to a certain extent. Now, the top tool for the INTJ is the hero function. The hero is our source of power, our inner heroicness. Their top tool is introverted intuition. Introverted intuition is about my path, my future, the visions I see, the possibilities I see for myself, particularly. Now, INTJs are very willful people. They're very wanty people. Their desire runs deep. It's very powerful. They are very determined when they pick something to pursue. They have this indomitable energy that can just smash through any obstacle once they're committed to a path. Now, unlike how some people view INTJs, they don't always know what they want, but they have this radar within them that can detect the best path forward more often than not. They have this ability to foresee for themselves deep into the future and equip themselves with the knowledge and ability to pursue that path with skill. Next is the parent function. The parent function is our source of responsibility. We're a bit more cautious with it than with the hero, but it's still very powerful. The parent for the INTJ is extroverted thinking. Extroverted thinking is about gathering information, pursuing achievements, pursuing goals, laying out steps to complete certain things. They are very good, like we talked about, at gathering knowledge, gathering information, and applying that to their pursuit. Now, they may only use it in the moment of their pursuit, but really their path to maturity is being able to gather different perspectives, where they become a little bit like the ISTJ, a little bit impartial, being willing to hear this side, hear that perspective, and weigh it out. Their maturity is their ability to hold different perspectives simultaneously. This is also how they verify their thinking, which we'll talk about in a moment, where they set up these reference points that they believe are quality research, quality reference points, and bounce their thinking between those. So their maturity is gathering more information, reading outside sources beyond what they just want to be true, and listening to different perspectives and having those perspectives battle it out. Next is their child. The child is our inner source of innocence, a little bit of naivety, but this inner childlike renewal as well. The child for the INTJ is introverted feeling. Introverted feeling is my values, my emotions, my depth, the perception of my internal workings on an emotive level. As blunt and as detached as INTJs often seem, they have a roaring inside, a passionate, deep, idealistic inside. This is where their idealism comes from. Many INTJs I've met are extremely idealistic. One of the reasons they test as INFJs at times because of FI child. It's a powerful, deep, moody, emotional, and moral center. They take what they care about very seriously. They actually have very strong feelings and beliefs about right and wrong, even though they don't always look like that from the outside. And even though they are not always very expressive people, within them, like I said, is this boiling concoction of passion and emotions and possibility. They have a very, very rich internal life. Next is their inferior function. The inferior is our source of vulnerability, insecurity, and perhaps even anxiety. For the INTJ, their inferior is extroverted sensing. Extroverted sensing is about the reactions of the people around me, where their attention is oriented. They are afraid of creating bad reactions around them. They are afraid of giving people a bad sensory impression. Extroverted sensing gives sensory impressions. INTJs are often hesitant to step over that line because they're worried that it's going to be a bad sensory experience for that person. They also worry just that they don't have the skill that it takes to perform certain tasks, or that they're going to look stupid, or that they're going to fail. Failure is a huge worry for the INTJ. They really hate to let people down. They really hate to give them a bad experience through not being able to complete that skill or that task. SE inferior in a very direct way is fear that I don't have what it takes to do that task. Now, as they gather more information and knowledge, their parent actually equips their inferior with the knowledge to lay out the steps to become more successful more consistently with the tasks that they pursue. But their deep need here is to be around people who are not going to run away at the first sign of trouble, who aren't going to leave them just because the INTJ messes up. And the INTJ does mess up, just like all of us do. But they are very, very sensitive to messing up, and they're afraid of what might happen if they mess up. Next is their nemesis. Think of the nemesis as the alter ego to the hero. It is the pressure, it is the character that pushes and pulls on our strongest tool with the aim of expanding it. The nemesis for the INTJ is extroverted intuition. Now, they have a strong sense of what they want, and I'm going to get that no matter what. Extroverted intuition nemesis is like, well, have you considered the ways this could go wrong? Have you considered the ways this could affect other people negatively? Have you considered the ways that this or that might happen? It is almost a source of paranoia for the INTJ, which can be a part of their difficulty with making decisions, or paralysis analysis comes from extroverted intuition nemesis, where they see all a million ways something could go wrong and are really questioning their path now, that they are like, well, is that more likely to happen? Because it feels real, it feels like it will happen. But the nemesis is asking the INTJ first to be aware of what could happen, but also to consider what other people want, who are in similar situations. INTJs often dismiss what other people want as that is unworthy, that's not up to what I want. And to their peril at times, they pursue paths that go nowhere, that end up not at all where they had hoped. So looking at what other people want as more of a consideration to orient what you may want is more of a safeguard and allows you to consider the successes of other people and how they got there. But this struggle with paranoia, not trusting other people's intentions, that is a battle that they have to fight within their mind. Next is the critic. The critic is our inner skeptic, our inner critic, kind of that old person in our brain who's a bit judgmental and a bit bitter, potentially. The critic for the INTJ is introverted thinking critic. They are very hesitant to trust their conclusions. They are very critical of their own thinking, their ability to solve problems, to logically work things out. The reason their extroverted thinking parent is so responsible and careful, like I mentioned earlier, is to gather quality perspectives that they can surround their thinking with, and then use their thinking to operate between those reference points, between those knowledge points, to sharpen and improve their thinking. Now, one of their struggles is over-relying on other people's thinking because they think their thinking sucks. But at some point, they usually realize in life that the thinkers that they rely on, they are wrong about a lot of things. And the only way to develop your thinking is to use it, is to practice it, is to be willing to get the wrong conclusion, because through that you will improve your thinking. But they are very critical about, that's probably not true, that's probably not true. My thinking about it probably isn't true, but here's 2 or 3 valid perspectives on this that I'm going to rely on instead. So yes, it helps them be more impartial. They can actually be great listeners because of TE parent, but they have this inner battle about not trusting their own conclusions and sometimes not being willing to use their own thinking out of fear of being wrong. Next is the trickster. The trickster is the shapeshifter. We kind of think we get it, and then we don't get it, and then, it embarrassed us, or something like that. It's kind of all over the place. It's like a jester in a court. The trickster for the INTJ is extroverted feeling. Extroverted feeling is social awareness, how other people feel, social norms. They are not really aware of how other people feel. They're very aware of how they feel. They have these strong feelings, and they may project that onto others of like, well, you probably feel that way, or you value that, or you don't value that, and not necessarily aware of what the social nuance actually is. Social norms are also kind of lost on them. Yes, they understand the rules, they understand the order of things, but the nuanced social norms that are not as obvious to them, that are not really as obvious, they aren't written anywhere, that can be very difficult for them. So this struggle with projecting their own feelings onto others and imagining that other people operate the way they do, and imagining that their minds are mirrored onto other people, it's not true. And until they become aware that FE trickster, extroverted feeling trickster, is often misleading their judgment, they will be embarrassed by it a lot. And it will get them into situations where they're going to feel embarrassed. And they're very sensitive to embarrassment with how other people think of them. So if you become aware of this a little more, you can start the journey of developing some acuteness with your FE trickster, and at the very least, avoid more embarrassing situations. And lastly is the demon, also called the underminer. This is our most repressed function. This is the function that pulls on us and causes destruction, often beyond our awareness. The demon for the INTJ is introverted sensing. Introverted sensing is my past, my visceral body experience, and my loyalty. They do not have a great sense of bodily experience within themselves. It has to be developed over a long period of time. Now, one of the things they will find out as they dip a little bit into their body, they have to be very careful with it, is that they're actually uncomfortable most of the time. They're just not aware of it. And part of the reason they are so anxious about giving bad experiences to others is because they themselves live a bad experience within their own body, but they're not aware of it. Introverted sensing demon is also a relationship with the past. They view the past often through this bitter, angry vision. It's just like, it's very difficult for them to go into their past. If you get nitpicky with an INTJ and ask them about their past, not really a good idea. It's like digging through barbed wire for them. It really hurts. It can make them really ragey because it is viscerally painful for them. If you want an INTJ to share about their past, don't ask them a lot directly unless it's the right moment. Let them bring that to you because it's very, very difficult for them. Now, introverted sensing demon is also a source of self-destruction. The demon is a destructive source. And sadly, introverted sensing demon, the INTJs can really destroy themselves. After they're alone for too long, they become totally dysregulated. Their schedule's all over the place. They find out they're lonely and don't have anyone to hang out with because they've spent so much time alone. So they can develop self-destructive habits with introverted sensing demon. Now, over the course of their lives, they can basically learn self-care with their demon, of developing a little bit of body awareness, developing some things that are caring for themselves in the moment. They want to fly, they want to soar with introverted intuition hero into the future, into their visions, but they often neglect themselves in the present. And that is a battle, an ongoing battle, that once they learn to invest in that a little more, that demon will relax a bit and stop creating so much destruction. INTJs are unique visionaries. They approach life in a systematic way of we're going to build a system that bring the tools with us to improve tomorrow. And they are phenomenal at optimizing and renewing old tools and making them fresh for the world around them. They can be kind of contrarian too. They often push against the status quo because they see the future that's possible and they hope that other people will benefit from that too. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.